Do you want to know why many analysts see 2026 as the strongest year for XRP since its inception? Why data regulation and real-world adoption are now creating a mix that could push XRP into an entirely new price zone? In this video, I'll show you the 10 most important reasons why XRP could explode in 2026 based on facts and market trends. Before we get started together, just sit back and relax for a moment. Grab a coffee and don't forget to leave a like for me. And if you want to find interesting altcoin gems early, then check out the 10x Elite. There you'll get insight into my personal crypto portfolio, so you'll see exactly which projects I'm actually invested in. You'll also get access to the 10x ranking list. I've rated over 100 altcoins as a percentage and put them all into a ranking. You can also use the 10x indicator, you already know it, from my videos, and in addition, in the 10 times Elite I also provide, for example, market updates as well as information about my own trades. On top of that, there's the 10 times Gem Radar, where I showcase exciting low-cap altcoins early on before they hit the mainstream. So if you want to move away from speculation and chance and prefer to rely on data, structure, and strategy, then 10x Elite is the next logical step for you. And right now, you can still get a 30% discount on your first month with the code 10x. You can find all the information in the video description. It's the very first link, but attention, a disclaimer. My channel is not financial advice, but purely for informational purposes. Let's get straight to the point. Number 10, the end of regulatory uncertainties. The SEC trial ended in August 2025. Ripple paid a fine for that. XRP is no longer officially considered a security. This effectively removes the last remaining obstacles for banks and institutions. In other words, clear rules open the door to larger volumes. Analysts already see potential here for strong price reactions in the future. Then let's move on to the next reason. Number 9, the growth of the RLUSD stablecoin. Ripple is bringing the RLUSD stablecoin to volumes in the billions. Every transaction consumes a small amount of XRP. This is of course an extremely positive effect. In other words, more usage naturally also means higher demand. And a growing stablecoin naturally strengthens XRP as a bridge asset in global payments. Reason number 8, the XRP ETF and institutional funds. The first spot ETF for XRP raised capital, and asset managers like Franklin Templeton showed interest. ETFs also ultimately take XRP out of the market because they tend to hold large amounts for the long term. And institutional demand is considered one of the strongest drivers in the entire crypto market. At the moment, reason number 7, global banking partnerships. So, over 300 banks and financial service providers use RippleNet. Payments become faster and cheaper. This is of course also a hugely positive side effect. XRP serves here as a bridge currency between two countries or even two currencies. The larger the network becomes, the higher the real usage, meaning payment volume, can naturally get as well. Reason number 6, technical upgrades to the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger regularly receives new features such as smart contracts and automated market makers, for example, but also the tokenization of real-world assets, or RWAs. This naturally opens up new markets in the end, especially in the RWA sector, because that's where it really pays off, since it's a billion-dollar industry. And above all, it will continue to grow in the coming years. Reason number 5, positive macro trends. In 2026, many economists expect lower interest rates, meaning more liquidity will flow into risk assets like cryptocurrencies. When Bitcoin reaches new all-time highs, all the major altcoins often benefit as well. In this environment, XRP could of course perform strongly because the fundamental situation is also improving at the same time. Then we come to reason number 4, the decline in supply. Ripple operates with a controlled supply model. At the same time, XRP is disappearing into long-term institutional holdings, so to speak. And of course, they also have certain solutions and, for example, are permanently removed from circulation through fees. This increasing demand, combined with a decreasing supply, often leads to strong price movements. Reason number 3. Ripple as a regulated financial institution. Ripple operates with a banking license and has direct access to payment infrastructures. No XRP with that. It can be integrated more deeply into traditional financial markets, which is of course extremely positive. And this increased trust naturally enables many more applications than today. Reason number 2. Compliance-based DEX functionality. Of course, a new ledger extension. These allow for regulated trading platforms, for example, with KYC mechanisms and institutional liquidity pools. This creates a secure environment for the major players in the market, meaning the large market participants, and XRP can become the core liquidity asset of this new DEX layer. Then, reason number 1, the 2026 cycle, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's halving is long past, new regulations are established worldwide, and many countries are testing central bank digital currencies. And ultimately, these are extremely positive developments for the crypto market. This moment brings together macro trends, usage, and technology, making it the perfect storm that could catapult XRP into entirely new areas. In 10x, it's no coincidence. Rather, it's the result of a combination of clear regulations and real-world adoption alongside technological progress. And ultimately, in a favorable market environment, in other words, because interest rates are being lowered. When all these factors come together, XRP could become one of the most exciting assets of the coming year. If you now want to know which price targets are actually realistic for XRP, and if you want to see my analysis, I'll link you to my XRP analysis right here. There, I've outlined the price scenarios up to 2030 and analyzed everything. Have fun and see you in a bit.